Today we're going to make, well, in Italian we call it minestra, right? But I guess in English you would probably call it a vegetable stew. Very good for vegetarians, no meat at all, right? So I've got I've got a pan heating up, and I'm going to put like about 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Then, when that gets nice and hot, I'm going to throw in some onions. Right? Onions. And I'm going to chop up some garlic. The garlic doesn't have to be chopped up terribly fine, just as it comes, because it's going to simmer for over half an hour. So there you go. And I'm also keeping some onions. Those onions that I've put in there I cut into fine slivers. These ones are kept into largish chunks. So don't do that. And I'm going to put 2 chilies in just to give it a little bit of a kick. Not a lot. These chilies, it's still not the time of the year for hot chilies, so it's okay. Miscolando. So when the onion gets to be a little bit opaque, I'm going to put those aside. Now with these potatoes, what I like to do, the potatoes will form part of the stew, and they'll break down and it'll be part of the sauce. Right? So I'm going to cut 1 potato in quite small chunks, and these are the ones that's going to turn it into a really creamy, yummy soup or stew, whatever you like to call it. I heard Shane Galea saying something on television the other day in a cooking show. It doesn't matter where it's from, just as long as it tastes good. And I agree with him wholeheartedly. So, put the potatoes in. Now we brown the potatoes a little. And this is a 1-pot wonder. You don't have to have many pots doing all sorts of different things. So this next potato, I'm going to cut it into larger chunks, because you want to see a little bit of potato in the stew. I made this soup as a starter for a friend's memorial lunch, and everybody raved about it like I made a bowl of gold. But it was very nice. So then I'll throw the rest of the garlic, other bits of onion in. So, zucchini, same as the potatoes, right? Some in large chunks and some in smaller chunks.
So some will cook quicker than others?
Well, if you put them, because everything's going to go in all together, I was just waiting for the potatoes just to brown up just a little bit and get the flavour in, right? Mm-hmm. And zucchini. Okay, this one I'm going to cut into small pieces, because that'll be part of the lusciousness of the sauce.
Well, one thing I know,
Yes.
I'm going to get myself one of those cleavers.
Well, can I tell you? Oh. Maybe I won't.
Oh, this is one you use often.
No, what I'm going to say is I bought these ones years ago, and they were about $50 each.
Yeah.
Right? And because I saw a program when they were mincing meat and they were using 2 cleavers to mince the meat.
Yeah.
And I thought, what a good idea. So I bought them. Number one, you can't keep the damn thing sharp. And number two, it's, you know...
And they're big.
And they, well, the size is okay. But number one, you just can't keep them that sharp.
Right.
All right.
Well, that's a better size.
So, now see how nicely brown that is?
Yeah.
You can see that?
Yep. And I can smell it.
Right. Now I haven't used any salt in that yet. Now with these beans, I just like to just cut them up roughly. You don't have to be...
Oh, you don't peel them?
No, Mark.
No.
And you were perfectly right. Yesterday we went to a party with a whole heap of ladies.
Yeah.
And Mark said to me, while we were chatting about cooking, and he said to me, you really got to explain what vongole are. And I said, everybody knows what vongole is. So anyway, there was about, I don't know, 30 women at the lunch. And I said to everybody, who knows what vongole are? Not a clue. And these are women in their 60s and 70s that have been cooking most of their lives, I guess. And...
But here's an interesting fact.
Yeah.
You know how Australians call them pippies?
Yeah.
The word pippy is actually a Maori word from New Zealand.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, good for them.
Yeah.
Well, Maoris do a lot of seafood.
Yeah.
I love Maori food, they're great. Anyhow, so this is raking up really well.
It smells...
So I'm just going to throw these in straight away into the one pot.
I better finish that. I said it smells, but it smells beautiful.
You're lucky you said that.
Yeah, but you didn't hear me the first time.
Yes, I did. I heard you. I was just waiting for you to clarify yourself. Now these ones I'm going to cut up really thin. So I was going to say about those knives, those cost me about $50 each or even more. This one that I use all the time cost me $1.50 at the Chinese shop.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, really? And while I'm on the subject, for all you young people out there, remember that when you're buying a piece of kitchen equipment, buy good ones, right? Because they're going to last you for all your life. These pots here, my mother, when she went to Italy, she bought me a set and my sister a set, from very large to small to small to small. I've had them now for 45 years, right? So, in my hairdressing days, And remember in the 80s with the gold chains, and you had to have everything that was wonderful, right?
And you did.
And I did. So I went and bought all those La Crusoe pots
Oh,
that
you
are
did
over
this
there.
to me. No, the ceiling cuts them out.
Okay. Well, anyway, I bought about 5 or 6 La Crusoe pots, and you know, I used them for a couple of years, and they were okay. But then, you know, they're too heavy, they're difficult to clean, you know, but I love them. I really do love them. They're great for stews and for all sorts of things. But these ones, the ones my mother bought me, they're just fantastic. They're light. I can clean them fairly easily. And lovely. So,
And what
I've not put any salt in any of that.
they're Italian.
They're Italian,
Okay.
yes. I've not put any salt in that. What I am going to put in is about a tablespoon of vegetable stock powder, right? And that'll salt it, but then if it needs some salt, I'll taste it later, right? There's tomato, all the stuff that I told you I put in, plus the vegetable stock powder, and then see all the potatoes are not half cooked, just a little bit cooked, but they're browned with the onion and the garlic, right? So that's given them a whole caramelized situation going on. And it's fantastic. So, when the kettle boils, I'm going to put water in it. Now, if I put the top on this, like so, and just put it on very, very low, you wouldn't need to use water, but I like it a little bit soupier. So, I'm going to put I'm going to put just a little bit of water, just almost covering it. That's it. Right. So now that is going to simmer till most things break down. Yeah. So I've got to tell you, I'm not going to do anything more to it. I'm going to not put any salt in it because I've put the vegetable stock in and that's got some salt in it. So when it's all broken down and everything's a little bit more reduced, I'll taste it then. If it needs more salt, I'll put a little bit more salt. But it probably won't.
Take 175. Take 100 and...
We use the yellow plate. It should be a bowl, shouldn't it?
Take 176.
Right. So, ready to go?
Go for it.
Okay. So now this is done. It's been on the stove for now on very low for about 38 minutes-ish, give or take. So now I'm going to plate up. Actually, bring the camera here for a sec. I just want to show how creamy it is.
Oh, yum.
See how creamy it is?
Yeah.
Now that's the breaking down of the potatoes and the zucchini. And see, there's still large bits of potato and still large bits of zucchini. But what you want is for it to virtually cook in its own juices. And the other thing I did is I threw in some Parmesan cheese rind.
Okay.
When it gets really to the end and there's still a lot of cheese in it,
Yep.
and you don't want to throw it away because it's a crime, you just throw it in this soup or any sort of soup. So, okay, now I'm going to plate up. There. And grate some Parmesan. Parmigiano Reggiano. So, there we are. Beautiful.
Yum.
Actually, Mark, have a taste.
You're not going to get my head on it. Yum.
Good?
Tony,
Right.
delicious.
Good. So, that is a simple dish. You can, when I make it, I make a big pot of it. And, you know, I even love that cold. When I put some in the fridge, and I don't even bother heating it up. It's so tasty. You can put it in containers and put it in the freezer. It's just fantastic. And you can have this probably less than that as a starter. It's fantastic. And as I said, people that I know that I've dished that up to all want the recipe. So,
Even me.
even you, exactly. So, now you have it. It'll be interesting to see how many of my friends...
No, don't put any pressure on me.
No, you've always got pressure.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how many of my friends that look at the video and subscribe. It's free. Yes, so now they've got the recipe.
Yep.
Right. So, end of story, cut.
And I tell you what, I can really taste that chili.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's subtle. The chili
Yeah.
The chili is subtle.
I mean, it's not too hot.
No.
It's there.
But the chili is subtle.
Yeah.
And like the whole dish is subtle. And the creaminess of the zucchini and the potato and the wide Italian beans, it is just wonderful. If you put normal beans in it, you know, the normal green beans,
Yeah.
I found that it comes a little bit tarty, you know, and almost, a little bit tarty. I didn't like it, but those
We don't want tardy.
we do not want tarty.
No.
We want lusciousness, deliciousness, splendido, magnifico, and cut.